So, for those listening on the YouTubes, at this point when this is out, I've done shorts on every killer in the game and going over their perks. And I've also, I don't know if this will be out before or after the video, but I've made a video going over basically a buyer's guide for new players to the game. The one that's more interesting to me is the killer side than the survivor side, because the survivor side is basically who has the better perks. But killer is more interesting because the powers has to be taken into account on how good or bad it is for a new player to fully understand and use. So we have our little tiers here. The free track is characters you should already own, which are Trapper, Wraith, and Hillbilly. At the end of the day, if you don't know who to start playing, just play Wraith. But if you want to know who's the best to go for in terms of which perks are good, who's actually like decent at the game, that's pretty much what we're going to be going over today. And if my guest Yoshi, hello Yoshi.
Hello, it is I. I am Yoshi. He is me.
Is going to be here so I have more back and forth and I'm not just talking to myself the whole time.
Yep.
First off, we have Nurse.
Well, Nurse and Huntress are free too.
Are they?
So I guess they should go in there.
They're free for everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. We don't have Nurse. First is
Yes.
Myers.
Myers. I think that's an easy one, to be honest.
His perks are good too.
Yeah, I think he's good for new players and has good perks. Like, I think that's a very easy easy placement.
What's the one outlier? Like, play with your food, maybe?
Yeah, play with your food's a little awkward to understand or to use effectively, but, like, Dying Light is a decent slowdown perk, even, like, on its own when you're starting out, and Save the Best for Last. I think it technically would teach bad habits, but in terms of, like, a starting chase perk, it's not bad.
Well, the other thing with it, too, is I was talking about Dying Light in the video I went over Myers' perks, and I didn't even think about it until I started saying it, but with how fast healing is going to be, that 30% extra healing doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, true, the downside. I think the real downside is the unhook speed, which sounds really weird, but I mean, like, in the case of hook trades and stuff, it's a little...
That's true.
Meh.
Yeah, but still, like, because there becomes a point where it's like, if you increase their healing speed by 30%, if they're already increasing it by like 150, who cares? It's
yeah, then it doesn't matter.
Like, it's water in the bucket. Like, no one gives a shit.
That being said, though, if we're talking new players, I also feel like a lot of them aren't going to be running those heal speed perks that are getting buffed, except for Botany Knowledge, but, like, you know, it's like Empathic Connection, Desperate Measures, Resurgence, like, they don't have those perks unless they buy those characters.
Yeah, it's true. Unless someone tells them to buy Jill.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I mean, I still think just, like, his perks are good. He's easy to play. He's not the best, but he's not bad. He's also very fun and has a lot of diverse playstyles.
He's also, like,
so
the most M1-y M1 killer in the game.
Yeah, and it's not like he doesn't have any skill expression either. Like, I mean, aside from teaching you M1 fundies, he's also, like, you have to learn to manage your stock and 99 people and the distances, and you can go for, like, vault mind games more and weird lunge shenanigans. So, like, yeah, I think Myers is, like, a really good beginner-friendly character.
Yeah. Hag. Good perks, hard for new players.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Third Seal, Ruin, Devour Hope, yeah, those are all really, really good perks.
I think, again, thinking from the new player perspective, though, are they really that good when you're new?
Well,
Devour, maybe.
Well, think about it. They're also playing against new players.
Yeah. So Devour is the only one that I think is... Oh, wait, no, yeah, Third Seal against... Okay, no, never mind.
Well, not even just Third Seal. Just in general, Hexes are very good. Because they're not going to know where they are.
Yeah, because people don't know totems.
Yeah. And Ruin...
But Hag is not new-friendly at all.
Yeah, that's why I say good perks, but hard for new players.
I don't think she, actually? Think about it.
Think about it? Okay,
I'm thinking about it. When I was new to the game, Hag was considered, like, a good killer for people to pick up and play. Because all you did was put down the traps at the hook. Like, you didn't have to worry about setting up your web or where to properly place them in, like, choke points and tiles and everything. You just only use them to camp people.
I can see the argument. I still just think, like, in general, being an M1 or 110 movement speed killer
Yeah,
in the
that's
way
fair.
in the way the game is set up now, and because most of Hag's good plays now are setting up the web, even against like people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would still argue she's kind of hard to play.
I give it. Or I get it.
Doctor, I think he's good. I think he's good for new players with good perks.
I mean,
We debated on this, putting him in my list.
yeah, I definitely think he's good for new players. I don't really know if I think he has good perks though.
Monitor, overwhelming presence, and
Overcharge.
overcharge. Overcharge helps with kicking, which is something you're going to be doing naturally. Lower terror radius / higher terror radius is never bad, realistically speaking, and it's a pretty passive thing you don't got to think about.
Yeah.
And the outlier would be overwhelming presence. But
Yeah, I would think that monitor would be not useful to a new player, but when you put it the fact that it's like a passive effect, I guess it doesn't matter.
it's one of those things where like it will be good for a new player. They just won't notice.
Yeah, exactly. They'll think like whatever of
Mhm.
it, but it's actually like low key helping.
Yeah, and again, we debated for a little bit there, me and you, when we were coming up with the list of killers for new players, and Doctor was brought up quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I 100% think that he's one of the best killers to start with. Not like the whole meme is he farms blood points a lot because you just spam shock people and you get a lot of deviousness, but like he's also an M1 killer. He teaches you like timings with the shock to actually learn how to anti-loop
Mm-hmm.
against decent survivors. Um, since he has that base kit tracking, a lot of new players hide often. It lets him completely negate that playstyle, which means that you're always in chase, you're always doing something, you're always pressuring somebody. Passive slowdown with the snapping out of it. He just has a little bit of everything, and he has a lot of really cool, fun add-ons to experiment with too. So he lets people really lock in and like take the time to learn a character
Yeah, and
and
he
start to enjoy the game.
he also synergizes decently well with a lot of other perks.
Yeah, even really unorthodox perks too, which
Mm-hmm.
is fun for build diversity.
Yeah, I think good for new players with good perks, with the one
Yeah,
exception. But
yeah.
I mean, I can't go that far into the weeds.
No, that's gonna be the case a lot. Is it's gonna be they have two good perks and one that's meh.
Well, it's better than the other way around, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, speaking of, we got Bubba, who I actually think
Good.
is good for new players with good perks.
Yep, I agree.
Because one, I mean, back when they had the difficulty ratings on the killers, him and Legion were the only two in easy.
Yeah.
And that's for a reason. While Bubba does have, to clarify for anyone watching this who is a veteran, by the way, I'm not shitting on the skill expression of killers with this. I'm talking purely about their floor, not
Oh
their
yeah, this is
ceiling.
like you just picked up the game and you're doing the bare bones basic with the character. Like in Bubba's case, it would be just back revving people with the chainsaw or using it to break pallets.
Yeah, and then as far as his perks go, barbecue and chili, while I know it does not give the blood point bonus, it's still one of the best perks in the game, especially for a new player.
Yeah, it teaches you like pathing and rotations and just shows you where people are so you can keep getting into chases and keep
Mm-hmm.
practicing your chase and your mind games.
Yeah,
It's not really bad at anything.
knockout is very good against pre-dropping, which a lot of newer survivors tend to do.
Hmm.
If they drop pallets at all, to be fair, but still. Uh, and then Franklin's, while not really that great overall, is still a good perk to have, especially early on, for when you just want to kind of play the game and not have to deal with things like flashlights or toolboxes or medkits.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that it actually teaches you about like perk counter picking,
Mm-hmm.
or I guess perk and add-on counter picking. So if you load into a lobby and you see all the survivors have medkits or toolboxes or flashlights, whatever item you don't want to deal with, you can put on Franklin's. And there are cases like that with other characters where you load in and you see an item and maybe they have a specific add-on that helps them deal with that item, such as I don't think he has it anymore. I don't know because I haven't used it in a while, but Knight has that one add-on that makes people scream when you summon Assassin. One's very good at dealing with flashlights.
That's true. I don't think he has that anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember. I do have the game pulled
I
up.
think
I can check.
all of those for night have been swapped to aura reading.
After summoning assassin, all survivors within 8 meters of the guard have their aura revealed. Yeah, it used to make people scream.
Yeah.
I remember that because I used to use that to. I had a flashlight bully squad, quote unquote, and I was running that out on, and it was really funny because I made them both DC.
It's funny. We're gonna get to a killer later who has had quite the glow up that does a similar thing.
We are.
You'll see. You'll see.
Say I don't remember.
Next up is Freddy. This one's hard to quantify because his perks are all in-game perks. And Blood Warden is pretty hard to use even for veteran players, because things have to go right.
If I may, I think I would still put him in good for new players with good perks. Not necessarily because of the in-game perks, but I still think, like, mostly in defense of Fire Up. I think Fire Up is unironically a pretty decent perk for new players because it's rewarding you to, like, helping you speed up actions a little bit as you're losing the game, and since you're not going to have a lot of gen slowdown, it's actually a pretty valuable perk to have.
Yeah, it's giving you kind of like not a comeback mechanic, but just it's helping you stay in the game better throughout the match.
But also, Remember Me promotes tunneling, so I don't know if that's necessarily a good habit to teach new players either, so that's a tough one.
Well, I think the other thing too is I don't think Freddy's the easiest killer to play now.
No, yeah. I think if you're playing him at like a bare floor as a new player, I would imagine you don't even really necessarily have to use the powers. You can just run around and hit people and use the dream world and teleport, yeah.
I feel like there needs to be another tier, but I don't know what to call it.
I would be okay with just putting him in bad for new players with bad perks, to be honest.
What? That was quite the 180 there, Yoshi.
Yeah, just putting him on the complete opposite side of the spectrum because I can't make up my mind.
Well, yeah, honestly, because, like, other than the teleport, like, the snare can be pretty decently hard to land if you don't know how to track well. Pallets don't get too much use, especially, like, if you can't, like, time things, because a lot of times the best time to use pallets is to zone with them, not to actually get the downs or the hits.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking too much of pre-rework Freddy, where it's like, who cares about the snare traps? Just walk up and hit people.
And, you know, as far as the perks go, like, they're all in-game, but again, Blood Warden requires a lot of things to go correct to work right. Remember Me, it's not even the encouraging tunneling thing, it's just you're not going to notice it's doing anything most of the time.
Yeah.
And then Fire Up, while good, there's other perks that do its job better that we'll get into with the other killers, one coming up very soon. And, I mean, Trapper has Brutal Strength at the start.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'd put him in double bad then.
Yeah. Sorry to all the Freddy mates.
All three of them.
Pig. Oh, this one's tough.
Actually, it is tough, but...
I want to say easy for new players, but she has bad perks.
See, I think her perks are good for new players, though.
I think honestly, it's mostly just because of just how bad Hangman's Trick is.
Yeah, Hangman's is complete garbage, but Surveillance and Make Your Choice are both good.
And she does have built-in slowdown.
Yeah, she has built-in passive slowdown, she has a stealth power, she has a pseudo-dash power. She has a smaller tear radius base kit now. She has a lot of creative and inventive add-ons in terms of, like, being able to customize the way that you play. Like, you can focus your build around the dash or focus around the traps. And like I said, in terms of perks, I think, like, Surveillance is a decent gen tracking perk, and you could pair it with something like Overcharge from Doctor to pretty decent effect, and Make Your Choice. It low-key does, like, 3 things for you. It stops you from tunneling, so you don't really have to deal with anti-tunnel perks as much because you're looking for your exposed survivor. It gives you an insta-down, which is always going to be helpful to a new player because it cuts their chase times down. And also, as you get better at the game and you start seeing Decisive Strike more, it acts as a Decisive Strike timer and a perk slot for you.
Mm-hmm. It's funny to think fucking Furtive Chase used to be the one combo with it at one point. Just so you knew who screamed.
Or Nemesis too. You would do Furtive Chase Nemesis, make your choice. I used to run that on Wraith a lot.
But no, I think I'm just... Hangman's Trick is so bad, I'm just like... I feel like it's tainting it that much.
I definitely think Hangman's is bad when compared to the other info perks that you get. I'm not even talking like the other killers. I'm talking just like the base game. You get Whispers, Bitter Murmur, Spies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there's literally no reason to run Hangman's Trick at all. Outside of if you hate Sabotage, I guess.
I mean, my point with it has always been, okay, you see the aura, now what? You can't really do too much unless like you're on like Gideon's. Ironically, Gideon's is like the best man for Hangman's Trick.
It's so funny because with Chaos Shuffle being out, I actually lost a game to a killer that I played against having Hangman's Trick because they could see me healing on the other side of the map near a Scourge Hook while they were trying to carry my teammate, and that let them slug for the 4K.
Fair enough. I mean, it has its moments.
Like, it does things once every 10,000 years, and then it goes back to not doing anything.
It's like Monster Shrine when I tried it for a week, and I was like, oh, yeah, it worked like 1 out of like the 90 matches.
I was so excited for that Monster Shrine rework. I used it so much. I wanted it to be good so bad.
They just need to up the number a little bit, and I think it's fine.
Especially with the hook stages being longer, it just got worse. I don't know why they didn't buff it when they made hook stages 70 seconds.
Well, I feel like they could also, like if you buff the number, I think it's fine because the perk only works when you're farther away from the hook, so it actually encourages healthy gameplay.
Yeah, that's what I like about it so much. But they just want it to be shit, I guess, because Monster Shrine is such a meme. It's what, 20% faster when you're 24 meters away?
7.
Make it... This is 20.
Does it say it is 20%? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's 7 seconds. My bad.
Yeah, 20%. Yeah, it's 7 seconds. They could just up it to 10 seconds. I don't know, whatever the percentage is.
Remember that it's only when you're away from the hook a certain range, so it doesn't even activate until you walk away.
Yeah.
So you have to take that into account for the timing.
I think they're so scared of it being strong for some reason.
It would be nice because it would be like a way to pressure survivors without actually pressuring survivors.
Dude, if it was like 50%, I would never take it off. That's like an insta meta perk for me because I love 12 hooking.
And again, it would encourage people to not camp or proxy camp.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. But moving on from DVD balance talking. Clown,
oh yeah, Hangman's Trick sucks. But where are we putting Pig?
Good for new players with good perks, just because of the other two.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, Clown, he's on my list for a reason, and I debated with a couple people on this, but I think Clown's skill floor is really, really low. To get like general effort out of him, he's a basic M1 killer, and he has a perk that helps you against healing, a perk that helps you with slowdown, and a perk that helps you with chase.
Yep.
He's literally the perfect killer for a new player.
Yeah, and he gets better as you get better too, because you learn better bottle placements, you learn survivor pathing, how they like to run tiles, and then obviously you start to learn the yellow bottles when you experiment with them.
And he has some really good add-ons. Like even like I'm not saying I know I crutched on it, but I'm not saying people should crutch on Cigar Box, but Cigar Box can teach you way more than you think it will because you see their aura the entire chase. You know the pathing now.
Yeah, even like just some of the lower rarity add-ons, like when I played him, I was a big fan of Sulfuric Acid Vial. Because it's like, oh cool, now I have Sloppy Butcher like in an add-on slot. And I also liked Smelly Inner Souls too. Like he has some just nice quality of life ones like that are neat. Or like Cork Stopper, Soda Bottle, like those are all nice. Like he's just, and little things.
His ceiling can be insane, but his floor is really low. The more I think about it, Clown's a really well-designed killer. I know a lot of people hate him, but Like, honestly, the more I thought about it, I realized how, like, really well designed he is when you really think about it.
It's funny because that was the opinion of him for a really long time, actually. Like, between when he first launched up until, I want to say, around Ghostface or Demogorgon came out, people actually liked Clown. And then that just changed for some reason.
People don't like being slowed. I can promise you that's the main reason.
Yeah, but even, like, killer players liked Clown at the time, because he was considered, back in my day, as I pull out my walking stick, he was like top 7 or top 8 in the game back when Legion was the newest killer.
Mm-hmm.
I remember on some tier lists, people even put him above Huntress, and he was like put in top 4, top 5 territory. Nobody believed that, but I saw 2 people do it. One of which was a content creator, so
yeah,
he must have been good back then, I guess.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I could see it back then, but I think they much similar to. I guess the closest comparison we have nowadays would be like Artist. The game has just evolved around him to a point where he's not as good as he was.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's mostly the way that survivors play the game now, I think.
Yeah.
Like, people found out, oh my god, if I just drop the pallet early, he can't use his bottle to slow me. Whoa.
Spirit. What are spirits? Spirit Fury?
Haunted Ground and Rancor.
I want to say
no.
Bad for new players with bad... Well, good perks, hard for new players.
Good perks, bad for new players.
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
There's a ambulance. I don't know if that came up in the background.
I did not hear it at all, no.
Oh, okay.
Well, because
ignore me.
Audio tracking is... It's an acquired skill. It's one you refine over time, and not something everyone is good at. So, like, and she's 110 outside of that. She has a lot of good perk synergies, sure, and then her perks on their own, though, Haunted Grounds is a good perk for when they do eventually learn how to, find totems and get rid of them, so you have, like, a backup. Spirit Fury combined with Enduring, even on its own, Spirit Fury is not bad. It's not amazing, but, like, it's not bad on its own. And then Rancor, again, just a good, like, trump card kind of thing.
I think the best part of Rancor is the info that it gives you. Every time a gen is done, you see all the little scream bubbles.
Yeah, it's like Worst Bitter Murmur.
It was, I think it's better than Bitter Murmur, at least in my opinion, because it's map-wide. Bitter Murmur's only around the gen.
That's true.
Like, it was, when I played a lot of Ghostface, even when I played Ghostface in comp, I ran Rancor a lot. Because they can't see your aura while you're undetectable, so you could, like, have that constant free info from Rancor, and they never knew that you had it. And then it let you get that extra kill at the end game to really, like, secure your points towards your win. Yeah.
Plus, Rancor is just fun. It's satisfying to just kill the obsession, even if you haven't hooked them on the all game. Okay, Legion. This one's gonna be difficult. Legion, obviously easy for new players. I don't necessarily want to say the perks are bad.
Mad Grit as a new player is useless. The other two are decent though.
Well, Mad Grit, Discordance is really good info. What's the
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's kind of pointless for a new player unless you're specifically playing Huntress, I suppose.
Well, I think Iron Maiden is good for new players because people hide in lockers a lot.
Does it make the grab faster or just the opening faster?
No, it's just the... Oh, wait, yeah, no, it does make the grab faster, but it also makes them exposed when they come out of the locker, remember?
That's true.
For 30 seconds.
I still kind of want to put it in bad perks because it's...
Oh, yeah, I still agree. I just think that it's not Hangman's Trick bad.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, Legion overall is a very good killer for new players.
Yeah.
They teach the fundamentals. They make sure everyone's injured. They're very... I know some Legion players are going to get mad at me saying this. They're very autopilot-y. And they're just...
So very fun.
Yeah, they're fun. There's a reason there's still one
and they have a lot of
killers.
Cool cosmetics. They teach new players to spend $30 on cosmetics. Very important.
The true end game of Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Next is Plague, who was originally on my list because of her perks, but no, I think she's
Yeah, good perks, hard for new players.
She has probably some of the best perks.
I think she has the best set of teachables next to Artist.
Because Infectious Fright,
Goated.
Corrupt Intervention, so good. And,
The GOAT.
Dark Devotion's not that great, but with the buff
It's getting buffed.
Yeah, with the buff it's getting, it's not really going to be that bad.
Yeah, 45 seconds of undetectable, and then they have a 40-meter turret radius now instead of 32, so it's a lot better.
It's any health state, right? It doesn't have to be an M1.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so yeah, it works on all killers. So like I definitely think it's good perks, but on top of her being slightly very macro intensive, also the fact that she's bugged the hell at the moment.
Yeah, she's also really tall, so you can't do basic M1 mind games on her a lot of the time, which people don't really think about.
Ghostface.
Ooh, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one.
Because he is a pretty basic killer, but I think his skill floor is actually decently high, unfortunately.
The thing that you see with a lot of new Ghostface players is that they don't stock, they just play Stealth Man.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like fine to a degree, but if you're going to learn a stealthy M1 killer, I would rather you get Myers, who has significantly better perks. Even though I don't think Ghostface perks are bad.
What's it? Furtive.
Thrilling, I'm all ears. 2 good perks. Thrilling's getting buffed.
No, I would say 3 good perks. Those are all good perks.
Oh yeah, I meant just the 2 that I brought up.
Yeah. No, yeah, I would.
Good perks, good for new players?
Do I want to say he's good for new players? Because I don't think he is.
I mean, the way I look at it is like you can just play Stealth Man with Knife and you can like do crouch mind games, and then as you get better, it'll be kind of like Clown, where you start to experiment with the stock and the leans more.
That's true, because I guess you don't need the expose as much, and every now and again you will probably end up getting it out of, just pure curiosity, I suppose.
Yeah, and just like being undetectable, new players panic a lot against that.
That's why I'm very scared for our new friend.
Yeah, that's gonna be hell on earth.
But we'll see.
Or good for clip farming.
The demo dog. Mindbreaker.
Cruel Limits and Surge.
Jolt. Yeah, Surge / Jolt.
I think they're not the best perks in terms of like use as a new player, because like Mindbreaker, okay, you cuck Meg Sprint Burst, I guess.
I want to put him. I want to put him in easy for new players. Bad perks. The perks aren't bad necessarily. They're all good, right?
They're just not strong.
Yeah, they're not strong, and they're not like Jolt is probably the exception, right?
Yeah, even then, a lot of people will debate that because you can like jump in a locker against it or just run away from the generator.
That's true. Well,
so it still has some counterplay.
Yeah, and on top of that, looking at this and this was something I was trying to think about with Legion with Mad Grit. It's like demo isn't really getting much Jolt use.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that does need to be taken into account. Is how good the perks work with the killers they're on. Like Pop Goes the Weasel, Bamboozle, and Chlorophobia all work really good on Clown, at least decently well. So I think that does need to be taken. Same with Ghostface. Thrilling Tremors and Furtive alone work really good on this killer. And
he literally has a add-on, the address book, I think it is, that gives you I'm all ears as an add-on, like if someone's marked.
It is true. Which is something I wish Behavior would do more often, because it's interesting.
Make perks add-ons, yeah, I love that when they do that.
Like make teachables their add, like make an add-on that's like a mini version of their teachable. It just makes sense.
I think it makes sense for some perks, but not for all perks. Like, how do you give Plague Mini Corrupt in an add-on?
It blocks the fountains for a little bit.
Yeah, but that's not corrupt. Like, it's not blocking the gens.
No, but it's blocking something. It's similar.
Yeah, I guess. That's fair.
Oni! What the fuck are Oni's perks?
Zanshin, Blood Echo, Nemesis. They're all terrible. He's bad for new players, and his perks suck. Next, please.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
No, I think I mean, I guess Zanshin is kind of good for new players, but his other two perks are complete garbage.
Yeah, that's true. Death Slinger, his perks have probably... There's a couple more on this list we'll get to for this. His perks have probably gotten some of the biggest glow-ups in Dead by Daylight history.
Oh yeah, Gearhead used to be awful. Same with Retribution.
Same with Deadman Switch.
I don't remember what original Deadman Switch was.
It does the same thing. So it used to, whenever you hook the Obsession...
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then they changed it.
Oh, yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. So it got... And only hook. The death one didn't count.
Yep.
So it was only the first two hooks. So you got 2 uses out of it. It was all gens, because it used to be the old Deadmans where it affected every gen someone hopped off of. But it was only if you hooked the Obsession.
Yeah, his perks were bad.
I would say he's good perks, hard for new players, because Deathslinger is a 1v1 killer that requires aim, prediction. You have to understand how the reel works, but he has no, like... He doesn't really have anything else outside of that. And if you suck at aiming the gun, which, I mean, you can make the argument for the other killers, but if in general you suck at aiming the gun, he's not even that good at zoning, unless, like, you build into it.
I think Deathslinger is the killer that you recommend to somebody coming to Dead by Daylight from an FPS game.
I could see that.
Because he has decent perks and he is the FPS killer.
That's true. But yeah, I would put him in good perks, hard for new players. In general. Obviously, there's exceptions to all of these, but...
Yeah, I agree.
Pyramid Head.
Bad. Double bad. Super double bad.
Yeah, his perk... Like, Deathbound's fun for me, because I play a killer who really likes people being oblivious. I don't even know his other 2 perks.
Trail of Torment, which I do think is good for new players, and then Forced Penance, which is fucking awful.
And he's not easy. Even as someone, again, who has like almost 5,000 hours in this game, I can't play Pyramid Head to save my fucking life.
You know, he's harder than people give him credit for, because everyone's like, oh, you just zone them and you cage them and tunnel them forehead, but no, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it's knowing when to zone, how to zone, where to put trails, if you should cage someone, if you should leave them up.
When to M2, when not to M2, you know, going for the flick, going for the reads through walls, like, he has a lot.
Plus, he doesn't synergize with a lot of perks. I know we haven't really mentioned that for most of the other killers, but because he doesn't synergize with a lot of perks, I do think that actually hurts him for teaching players how to build.
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to, like, base game perks, because he has... You get spies and or whispers, and that's it. Like, he can't use any of the other base game perks really effectively.
And whispers actually isn't that great on him, because if you happen to go somewhere where a cage is, and you don't know it's there...
Well, I guess... I don't know, I would argue that is good, because now you know that there's a cage there and you can proxy camp the area, but that's the thing is, like, a new player is not going to know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it would just add confusion to whispers, because whispers working how it does now for hooks, it's like I could explain to someone, yeah, they're on hooks, so whispers is going off. Oh, okay. But if I have to explain to them, yeah, well, the cage might have spawned there. Also, you're on midwich, so it could be upstairs or downstairs. It's a good fucking luck.
Just figure it out, man. Yeah, so he doesn't have a lot that he can use, and his add-on design is also terrible, so it's not even if you do take the time to learn him, it's not even fun to, like, get creative. No, you're just basically, you learn the base kit and that's it.
The funny thing with Pyramid Head, and yeah, I've talked to Pyramid Head about this, the fun part about Pyramid Head is playing him badly.
Yeah, you just go for wall bangs the whole game and throw the match.
Yeah, you go for wall bangs and flick shots.
And you throw the whole game, they do 3 generators because you didn't tunnel somebody out at 5 gens, and you're like, man, I love playing Pyramid Head, and then you get 4 outed.
What a weird killer. So I asked on Twitter for recommendations on killers that were good for new players. The amount of people who told me Blight blew my mind.
Would you hate it if I said that I agreed to a degree?
I just don't. I think he teaches bad habits.
Explain.
You're playing, but we can make it. This is why I was wondering if Nurse was on the free track or not. Blight is playing an entirely different game from every other killer in the game.
But when you're new, you're not playing that game.
It's true, but like you're building the habit of being able to dash all the time.
Well, the idea with Blight is that you play him like, I guess like a Wraith with training wheels, where you just use the dash for mobility and then just chase like an M1 killer. And it's like, yeah, you're building up the habit of always having a dash and always having a mobility tool, but that's also inherently teaching you macro gameplay because you're thinking about where to go and where to pressure at all times.
Okay.
It's just that he has the ability to just get there, whereas with other killers you don't. But you're still always thinking about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I went to this generator and there was a Jake and a Meg, and I chased the Jake and I hit him, so maybe I should go back to the gen and maybe the Meg got back on it. Like, even something as basic as that, Blight teaches you that you can do that. Whereas other killers, you're like, well, I guess I'll just chase this guy now, and then the gen gets done.
What are Blight's perks? Dragon's Grip?
Dragon's Grip, Undying, and Blood Favor, which I think... I wouldn't say that they're bad, but I also don't think that they're crazy good.
Well, there's no hex. Well, actually, no, there is a hex. Now that new players have.
Thrill?
No. Well, okay, Thrill and Plaything.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't really use Plaything with Undying.
No, but I'm just saying it's the first. I never even thought about this. This is the first time we've ever had a hex for new players that wasn't Thrill.
Yeah.
Other than Lullaby, I guess, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. And it's a good one, too.
It's a very good one. That was part of the problem with trying to come up with this, because some people were like, oh, they'll just use Pyramid Head or Pinhead's perks.
Yeah.
Which is going to be so interesting to think about. Because I was considering Gift of Pain in here, which is why we'll get to another killer here who synergizes with Gift of Pain very well. But because it's interesting, because now new players have a Scourge Hook base that's not Monster Shrine, and they have an actual decent Hex base.
And a good gen slowdown perk base with Deadlock.
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah, Pinhead has one of the best sets of teachables. It's just that now he's not purchasable anymore, so he by default loses to Artist and Plague now.
Yeah, I put him. I'm gonna put him in free, by the way.
Even though he's not free, you can't get him anymore. You should put
can't
him in the dead tier.
How do I make a new tier?
Click the gear, click add a row below.
Add row below, I'll make it pink.
Call it RIP.
Call it RIP?
Yeah, just RIP, rest in peace.
RIP.
Yep, he's dead.
He's dead. They got him.
By Pinhead.
They got him.
Yeah, they got him.
Can't stop laughing at how fucking.
What do you mean they got him?
I liked him too. He used to share his the box. So good. Blight.
Oh yeah, I would say fuck, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, what do we think of his perks?
Well, because Dragon's Grip is okay. Undying just doesn't really have too much synergy unless you bring another Hex from another killer. And Dragon's Grip...
You mean Blood Favor?
I meant Blood Favor, yeah. Is nice, but... Do we genuinely think he's good for new players with good perks? I feel like I think we're saying it, but we don't want to say it.
I think he's good for new players in the same way that Wraith or Ghostface would be good for new players, or like Hillbilly, where it's like you're just doing, like we said, the skill floor, where it's just use the dash for mobility and that's it, and nothing else.
Yeah, and again, his perks aren't like terrible.
Again, it's skill floor. It's not skill ceiling. I think you're thinking about the ceiling too much.
I'm also I'm just thinking about the habits it forms, but yeah, that's true. I
We have that argument for the other killers too, and we still put them higher up, I think.
Yeah. Also, I'm putting twins in bad for new players with bad perks. I don't care how
Oh
good.
yeah, not even thinking about that one.
Yeah.
How no one's buying twins anyways.
I don't care how good Coup is. One, new players aren't using that shit to its fullest advantage, and two, you think people really care about Hoarder?
Even if they were, Coup teaches bad habits. I think.
Yeah.
But you start to rely on it.
What's their third perk?
Oppression.
Yeah, I don't think it
Oppression's
saves.
good.
I don't think it saves the other two though.
No. Do we put Blight in good with good, right?
Yeah, good with good.
Okay.
Trickster.
Ooh. Bad for new players with good perks.
Yeah, I would have to agree. He is the
His
only
perks rule.
Yeah, he is a 115 range killer, but his range is it's not that it's I would just unless but again playing against new player, well, even then because they're not going to be using it in the right situations as the Trickster.
I will say I have a cousin who plays Dead by Daylight like very casually, like very very casually. And she plays Trickster just because she likes the K-pop aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very odd playing against a Trickster in a custom game that did not use their power. So, I'm just putting that there.
I mean, just a reminder, remember when Trickster first came out and everyone thought he was really bad, and it took like almost a year before people realized how good he could be.
Well, he also got buffed twice, and he had a really powerful add-on.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Rest in peace, iridescent photo card.
Oh no, not that one. I was talking about the USB.
Oh.
Do you remember his launch when the USB was different?
What did they used to do?
It reduced the amount of knives that it took to fully lacerate a survivor by one bar. So it reduced him from 7 to 6 shots, and it made him really strong.
Yeah, I joined.
Like everybody ran it every game.
I think I joined right after that must have happened because I joined when Nemesis was out.
Yeah, they made it base kit by then, and then they did other tweaks to him. Like they changed how main event worked, because main event used to slow him down more than he currently slows down when you're below 30 knives. It was really bad.
Yeah. And then,
so his problem was just no one used main event and everybody used the USB.
And then as far as like perks go, No Way Out is really good.
Yep.
Crowd control, even especially after its buff, is really good.
It's so good right now.
What is the last perk?
Starstruck,
which is really good to help you not have to worry about flashlight saves. Trust me, Survivor C, you had that thing once, they're never doing it again.
And they're all relatively good perks even on him, because now that he's 115, he can use Starstruck, and he needs a perk like Crowd Control or Bamboozle because he loses to windows really bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So he can run his own stuff too.
Yeah, plus most people...
He's just hard to play.
I know a lot of Trickster mains would disagree, but he's decently fun for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I think he's a good time when you're not just like getting W keyed into oblivion and losing 5 generators.
He's one of those weird killers. I feel like this is similar to Plague. They're fun when you don't main them. You know what I mean?
I feel that way about a lot of characters.
Yeah, like they're fun when like you don't like play them so much that you start to see the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is true for a lot of killers, to be fair.
There are a lot of killers that are also the opposite of that too, in my opinion.
Legion's always fun.
Cough, Dredge.
Yeah, Legion's always fun. I don't care. As much as I hate playing them, I think they're always fun.
I think Dredge is the one where it's the inverse, where everyone thinks Dredge sucks until they like hardcore main him and figure out all the stuff that they can do.
I see. Nemesis.
Double good.
Is it double? Yeah, zombies aren't the best thing in the world, but they're decent. Tentacle isn't that hard to use, at least on the skill floor side of things. Add-on variety could use some work, but it is what it is. Perks.
His perks are insane.
Lethal Pursuit. I mean, he was made specifically for new players. The more now that I think about it. Plus the buffs he just got make him insane in general. He can shred pallets with his power. like, and as far as the perks go, again, Lethal Pursuer is one of the best perks in the game. I get fight me. Um, uh,
Yeah.
what Hysteria is decently good if you somehow happen to be doing hit and run,
Also, the
and
buff that it got now as well.
Eruption just in general is just good. Even if like you're not like perfectly macroing it out, Eruption is still just good.
Yeah, the biggest flaw I see people, like the mistake that people make with Eruption, and this is to help all the new players out there listening, you don't have to kick every single gen to get value out of Eruption. You can just kick the gen with the most progress and then go get it down. And now that gen is regressing after losing a chunk of 10%, and if they get back on it, you see their aura.
Mm-hmm.
So this will also let you make the choice of whether or not you want to now slug your down to go pressure the gen or take the hook. So it actually teaches you good habits, if anything.
Artist. Good perks are for new players.
Yep.
Even like as much as I will glaze Artist, especially if the perk change, if the add-on changes go through, I think she like, yes, you can just plop Bird at loop, even against like other new players, but even that takes some time.
Boo, shit a bird, boo.
Boo. Her add-on variety is not that great, especially after with the changes go through. Behavior, if you hear this, don't let those cheat. Anyways, but her perks. I mean, for the longest time, I not even the longest time. I would say since Artist's release, she has the best teachables in the game.
Yeah, it's funny because like only Pentimento was really quote unquote bad, and it wasn't even because it was weak. It was just because it was hard to actually activate. And then people started pairing it with like Plaything or Ruin Undying, and when boons were like a big thing for whenever Shattered Hope got added, it was like, oh, Shattered Hope Pentimento is gonna change the meta, and then nobody used it.
I use Shattered Hope all the time.
Yeah, I know. I've been playing Chaos Shuffle too.
Sadako. So Sadako was on the list. She's still on my list, and I talked to a few other creators. I won't name them here, and some of them do disagree with me until I explain why. Now, I want to go over the perks first, because I genuinely think, apart from Clown, Sadako is one of the best new player killers in the game.
Yep, I agree, as someone who gave you that idea.
Carla Brine is just, it's a very passive perk that works from you just kicking a gen. It gives you info, and it can provide decent slowdown. Merciless Storm, the most fucking value this perk gets is against new players.
So funny.
And it slows down the game a little bit. And then Bloods of Rage, again, now that Gifted Pain is base kit for every killer, like everyone owns it, it can combo very well with that Scourge Hook in particular, but also it's just a decent Scourge Hook on its own. It's info, like, because the thing with Floods of Rage is if you're running around the map and like you're not currently going to chase and you don't know where the survivors are, and then Floods of Rage goes off, now you know where to go.
Yeah, and if you're also actively in a chase, it also lets you do cool mind games and chases if you had like I'm all ears.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a range limit. The one problem with it is a Scourge Hook, but at the same time, that's also a mechanic for other perks that new killer players will need to learn, especially for build crafting. Which is something we didn't really mention with the Artist. Pain Wraith alone probably makes her like one of the better perk givers, even though it has definitely fallen from grace a bit, and I still think it's overrated at the moment. And then as far as Sadako's like playstyle, she's a basic M1 killer with undetectable, similar to Ghostface. She has a map-wide teleport, pretty much. She can go to, pretty much any TV. New survivors aren't really going to be, counterplaying the TVs too much. And while Condemn is complicated, let me rephrase that. Condemn is complicated if you want to know about it. If you don't want to know about it, it's really not that complicated.
Yeah, exactly. You can just ignore that aspect of her power entirely and just play her like an M1 killer with a map-wide teleport.
Yeah.
And like as you get better at the killer and you start to learn and understand her more and do more research, you can experiment more and change your playstyle and carve out how you want to customize and play her, which is something that her add-ons do really well as well.
Yeah, on top of that, it's like her. Like, again, the newer survivors probably aren't going to be going for TVs or tapes. You're probably going to get a condemned kill here and there. You're not going to know why, but you got it.
Yeah.
So I think that's also another interesting thing with her as far as new players go. She can lead to, like, decent games, and she teaches the fundamentals while having... She's basically... I know people have made this comparison before. She's the paid version of Wraith.
This has a lot of, like, cool moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you don't have to know about Condemned to be able to use it, so being like, oh, I teleported and this survivor's thing turned red and I got this really cool, like, animation.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, I wonder how I got that and how I can do that again, and you start to look into it more.
Yeah, and like I said, she's more like the paid version of Wraith, because Wraith also does a lot of these things except for the Condemn, right? He's a basic game 1 killer, has good map traversal, which is why a lot of people recommend him for new players, including me. Wraith has 1 or 2 flaws in this entire thing. 1, he's free, so everyone owns him. And 2, his perks suck. Even for new players.
Bad.
They're so bad. Bloodhound is just terrible and almost completely useless. I've gotten value from Bloodhound, don't get me wrong, but not enough to make it worth it. Shadowborn, sure. No one's really stunning you or flashlighting you at pallets that much anymore. And I don't even know what his third perk is. That's how bad it is.
Predator.
Oh, Predator's decent. Okay, Predator's decent.
Yeah, it's decent with the change.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. One more thing on Sadako as well is the fact that she technically has a chase power while not having a chase power. Like, her chase power isn't mechanically demanding in the same way that, say, a Slinger or a Blight is, if you try to actually, like, use it in a tile. You can just use basic M1 mind games, but if you also use it in tandem with the manifest state where you're phasing in and out of reality, you can do a lot of really cheeky, cool, fun stuff that works as you get better at the killer. Like, there starts to be, like, layers on the mind games. Like, when you start, it's literally just uncloaking and double backing while you're invisible, and then as you start to get better and go against better players who like recognize these tricks that the killer can do, you can do crazy things like standing still while you're invisible, and then when you flash back in, you walk one way, and then when you go back invisible, you double back, and now they're running into you. Or just standing still the whole time, which works more than it probably fucking should.
Another thing is she's the only killer in the game who is stun immune.
Yeah, exactly. You have stun immunity from pallets by going into your demanifest, and that lets her clear out resources relatively quickly if you run something like Brutal or Fire Up.
Well, not even just that. It alleviates frustration.
Mm-hmm. Because people don't like getting flash or pallet stunned.
Yeah, it alleviates frustration a bit with that. And while you won't be like going out of your way to do it necessarily, especially someone who doesn't fully understand it. It will happen. Like, a pallet's gonna hit you while you're demanifested, and you're not gonna get stunned.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
her add-ons are also fairly simple to understand. They're just like TV cooldown, like after a teleport, or longer invisibility flashes, or they can't see you from as far away. Mm-hmm. It's really not until the condemned specific ones that they start to get a little more complex, like with ring drawing. But all the other ones are just like focused around her manifest or her TVs. And even something like Bloody Fingernails, like, it's just, you slap it on and you're like, whoa, that was fun, Like, she just has a lot of really fun, cool, neat things that she can do. And, I wouldn't say anything about her is bad for new players outside of iridescent videotape existing.
I think it's bad for even not new players.
Yeah, that add-on is just poorly designed, but there's so many ways you can play her, like Chase Sadako, Pallet Shred Sadako, Condemned, Stealth, Slugging, Snowball, whatever you want to do. She can just do it, hit and run. Yeah, I think she's perfect.
Moving on a bit to the cooler Sadako, we have Dredge. Do I want to
Oh,
say...
he's kind of hard.
I kind of want to put him bad for both.
Yeah, I think he's kind of hard.
Yeah, he's very hard to use properly. The lockers... I know me and you have both debated people on this about the whole locker situation and him being super map dependent. But, you know, for a new player, this definitely can be a source of frustration and learning that, like, doesn't need to be there. Remnant is difficult to get the most use out of unless you know exactly how to position it and what you're doing. And his perks are just kind of... Like, Septic Touch kind of sucks with no feedback.
I know sucks is a bit of a understatement.
Yeah.
But...
Darkness Revealed is okay. But, like...
Dissolution is okay.
But again, but Dissolution is one of those ones where I feel like you have to know what you're doing to get the most... Or to get any use out of it, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then... And against new players, they're not really looping. They're holding W. And that's, like, one of Dredge's biggest counters.
Yeah, I also think, like, the only real strength that he has in his kit that helps him out against new players is literally Nightfall that you will barely get
if you're not
playing well.
Exactly.
With the Remnant and the Teleport and
I don't like
getting
putting
hits
Dredge.
and hooks.
I don't like putting Dredge low on most tier lists, but like this one, I think he actually deserves it.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not an easy killer to play, and his perks suck. So, you know, poor turkey.
Wesker. I kind of want to put him in good for new players with good perks.
Oh, I put him easy for new players with bad perks.
What is situational awareness?
Terminus and Superior Anatomy.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I would put him in easy for... And before someone says, oh, Wesker's actually super complicated, we're talking about the floor. Just a reminder.
Yeah, like when Wesker first came out, the way I played him was I basically just slapped on Barbecue, Pop, Monitor, and Abuse and Stabiffle.
Yep.
And I just used a Unicorn Medallion, and I used the dash for mobility, and I played him like an M1 killer.
Yeah, pretty much. You played him like I played Ken.
And this was also just to give some context. I hated Wesker when he came out. I liked playing against him, but I didn't like playing as him when he came out. Because I had a hard time hitting the dash, which is obviously a skill issue, no shit. But like at the time, I was like, this dash power sucks. I'm just gonna use it for mobility, and that's what a new player is gonna do.
So, funny story. When I first started streaming Dead by Daylight, it was right when Wesker came out. And I was playing Wesker non-stop. And my artist at the time made a bunch of memes for it. And actually, if you look at my PNG model, my eyes are Wesker's eyes.
Oh yeah, I do know that because of the sunglasses. It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's well, I can go naked if you want.
Whoa!
Wait, nope. I got rid of that PNG. Fuck. Okay, I gotta add that back in.
Said I can go naked just right now on stream. TOS.
I can pull a fucking Donald Duck and take my shirt off, and that's it. What are Knight's perks before we answer this question?
Nowhere to Hide, Face the Darkness, and Hubris, which I think are all good for new players. I just don't think he's easy.
Yeah, I would say good perks hard for new players. I don't think there's any debate. I don't think there's really much debate on any of that, honestly.
Yeah, no, just Nowhere to Hide's really, really good for new players. Face the Darkness isn't the best, but it's not bad. And Hubris, you're going to get pallet stunned a lot. You might get value out of it. And even if you don't get the insta down, you're still like making them panic, and maybe they run into a wall or something, and you get the down because of that.
Yeah, and
it's just that he's really difficult to play.
As much as people will say he's not.
Yeah, well, sometimes people are wrong and stupid, and those people are wrong and stupid.
Skull Merchant. I think the same as now. Well, okay, so that killer I was alluding to earlier, where I said probably got some of the biggest glow-ups, is ironically Skull Merchant. Not her.
Oh yeah, her perks are great.
Yeah, her, no, they shot her out back. Okay, we can all agree on that. But her perks? I think she has some of the best teachables in the game.
Yeah, I think, well, Leverage is the obvious standout. I think Thwack, after the buff it's getting with the Springtrap patch, is so good. And Game of Foot is okay.
Yeah. They're all just decent, but they've all definitely gotten the buff. Also, I will edit this out. But how about maybe thank you so much for the raid. By the way, I can't shout you out because multi-stream is stupid. But thank you.
Mhm.
But no, yeah, her perks are really good. She's just sucks, and she's not easy to play either. Like that's the sad thing about her.
Yeah,
Like,
no, she's extremely difficult to play now after the changes that they did to her.
we can all joke about how bad Trapper is, but at least at like a basic skill floor level, he's pretty easy to play.
Like with Skull Merchant, in terms of skill floor, the best that you can realistically do is throw your drone to activate undetectable, and that's it. And then just play her like you would play Ghostface.
Yeah, and just play.
But at that point, just play Ghostface.
Yeah, just play Ghostface.
And like I said about Ghostface, just play Myers.
Singularity is a really hard one to determine too, because what is it? Septic touch? No, not septic. He has genetic limits. The better septic
Force
touch.
Hezi and machine learning. I think it's double bad on Larry. I don't necessarily think his perks are bad, but I think that they're specifically bad for new players.
Yeah, and also like again, as similar to Knight, as much as people will tell me, oh, he's actually brainless easy. Tell a new player that.
No, he's not. Even if you're a good player, no, he's not. You're wrong. Stop. That's my Singularity rant. No, you're wrong. Stop.
Xenomorph.
Oh wait, should we put Larry in good perks since they're technically good perks, even though they're not good for new players?
I would say they're pretty bad. I mean, machine learning is okay.
It's like, getting buffed.
Yeah, but even then.
Yeah.
Genetic limits is really good, actually. But again,
Forced hesitation is also pretty decent.
Yeah, but both of those perks are just not like. Genetic limits is only countering maybe life and dead hard.
Yeah.
And those are two things you're probably not seeing that. Well, maybe life, but even then. But the big thing genetic limits counters is dead hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the main
Which
reason.
you won't see.
Yeah, or even see people using it well. So like it really doesn't matter too much. And then like I could make the argument maybe for it was just on the tip of my tongue. Genetic limits.
Force
Hezi. Yeah, that's the other one. Like Force Hezi, it's good, but like getting the most value out of it, you would have to know how to use it, and I think it's only really good in combination with other perks. Or if you're tunneling, because that's like the best time to use Force Hezi.
I use it on Unknown for hook trades because I love tunneling.
But no, I think Larry's just bad for both. He also,
I can concede.
Like again, he's just too macro intensive. Like you can play him like bulldoze M1, but even then, swap the cam. Make sure the cam is in like an area where like the survivors are gonna go. Shoot a cam in the middle of chase in front of the survivor so you can then swap to it and hit them. Like that's macro and micro intensive.
Yeah, no, he has a lot going on that I think is too difficult for a new player to really grasp unless like maybe after they get their first couple of games in. Like I would say if you're 50 to 60, 70 hours in like that range, yeah, go ahead and give them a try. You'll probably still do awful, but you'll have more experience to be able to try and focus and understand.
If you're coming from Rainbow Six Siege, play him. That's going to be my recommendation.
Yeah, pretty much. If you play attack shooter, you'll probably be able to play Singularity.
Which leads us to Xenomorph.
I have a rant about Xeno.
You have a rant about Xeno?
Yes, I have to rant about Xeno in terms of like new players.
Go ahead.
I think that the biggest failure of the Alien chapter was the fact that Behavior fumbled the bag of making them a beginner-friendly killer with the flame turret mechanic. Because I think that they're the least new player-friendly killer in the entire game.
I would agree. Also with how the collision works. And again, this is just because I know a lot of Xeno mains, but like I have seen new players try Xeno and the collision and like The collision and like how the tail works just doesn't make sense unless you know.
There's a lot of little issues. Like it's the collision of the tail, the FOV constantly swapping when you're going in a tunnel, coming out of a tunnel, when you're standing up, when you're crouched down. Like that gives people, say, motion sickness, and it also like messes with just their view and their perspective of things as simple as the map or like tracking people. The flame turrets are obviously a nuisance. They blind your vision. They make you scream. It's harder to hear people. It's harder to see what's going on. It makes you lose your power. It's very frustrating to deal with.
It also gets rid of all of her stealth.
Yeah, exactly. And you have no stealth ability because they're just constantly beeping, and even like little things like the vent spawn locations on, say, like indoor maps. Like there's so many little frustrating pain points of Xenomorph that I think that they're the absolute worst killer that you could pick up for a new player, and that's fucking awful because it's the Xenomorph, dude. So many new players are gonna see the alien from Alien, and they're gonna want to play that killer, and now they can't.
What about the perks? Alien Instincts.
I think they're great.
Alien Instincts, Rapid. Actually, you know, I would argue Rapid is actually probably a really good new player perk because...
Yep.
Like, yeah, oh, well, they won't get Bloodlust. The new players are probably the ones getting Bloodlust the most. It teaches them not to rely on Bloodlust.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is, I guess at that point, it's not really a quote-unquote beginner-friendly perk. It's more like an intermediate perk, but...
Yeah. What's Alien's last perk?
Still. Alien Instinct, Ultimate Weapon, Rapid Brutality.
Ultimate Weapon. Okay, Ultimate Weapon is actually not even that bad either.
Yeah, no, I think that they're all good perks for new players. I think that Xeno is just really new player unfriendly.
I can agree. The more I think, well, because the argument can be made, oh well, new players won't be using turrets that well against Xeno. It's not even a matter of using them well. It's just how frustrating they are in general.
Thing is, you don't have to use them well, because if it's like a new Xeno player versus new Survivor players, they're gonna put the turret right outside of the tunnel, and that Xeno player is gonna come out of the tunnel, and they're not gonna see the turret, and then they're gonna walk past it, and they're gonna get shot in the ass, and they're gonna be like, "What the hell? Where'd my power go?"
And they're gonna hear the fucking elephant noises.
Yeah, no, they're just completely new player unfriendly. I think the only thing that would maybe shift my opinion slightly would be they have like Ovomorph, Ripley's Watch, and cereal rations as like brown add-ons that like kind of help some of the issues with new players, where it's like you get your power back passively sooner, you can see the auras of the turrets, and if you do lose your power, it destroys the turret for you. But it's like the fact that you have 3 brown add-ons that you have to run to fix 3 out of the 6 million pain points that the killer has when you're learning is terrible design, in my opinion.
You know what's funny? I think Behavior learned their lesson.
Because, with Springtrap?
Yeah, because like thinking about it, it's like, okay, turrets are frustrating because they're overstimulating and stuff, and it's like, well, Springtrap has a similar thing with the cameras, but they don't take him out of power.
No, they just reveal his aura, but they still make like the same really overstimulating sound effects, I would argue.
Yeah, but they're also not as common, and you have counterplay against it, but with the axe, which isn't as hard to do as hitting a turret with the tail.
Mm-hmm.
So the more I think about it, I know people compare him to Huntress a lot, but like, as wrong as I think they are, I feel like Behavior.
Yeah, no, those people are not intelligent. That was mean. I'm sorry.
It's my boy. It's Chucky.
Chucky.
This one's hard. I'm gonna think about the perks before I say my piece.
I think his perks are bad.
Yeah, I think all of his perks are bad for new players. Batteries included only works in 8. Batteries included is the exception. The other ones are just... 2 can play requires...
2 can play actually might be the best one.
Yeah, but you have to get stunned on purpose.
It's only twice, though. Well, actually, even it's technically once, because on that second stun that activates the perk, it procs off of that, so you only need 1 stun.
I feel bad. Oh, and Friends to the End is... You know what? Actually, his perks are good, the more I think about it.
No, they're good perks, I just don't think that they're new player friendly.
Yeah, and as far as he goes... that's a tough one. Because...
I put him in easy for a new player with bad perks.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's like super duper uber difficult, but I also don't think he's like the easiest killer.
Yeah, again, I think his floor is decently low, especially now after the buffs.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest problem after the nerfs, is his floor would just got fucking shot up as high as it could go.
And he has a lot of add-ons that like help him out and hold his hand a little bit, like jump rope if you don't really know the range that well, or like
Whoa,
even
whoa, whoa, whoa,
doll
whoa,
eyes.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
What?
Just
What?
You just shitting on jump rope users like that? Come on.
I mean, I'm talking from the perspective of a new player of like, you know, they're not gonna always know the range like that, so having that little bit of extra range is gonna help them if they make a mistake.
He's also like the laps do give you away when you're stealthing, but like again, new players aren't really paying too much attention to that, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
and then he has like doll eyes too, is nice for new players, I'd argue.
yeah, and you know his small stature makes him easy to sneak up on people. Chuck spotting
Indeed.
is a very easy thing to do, and we'll probably get a lot of hits against new players. I can almost promise.
Oh, for sure. I think like he just, you know, he's got a little bit of everything. He can do all the things. He's not that bad, and he gets better as you get better.
Yeah, and then we got Jerry over here.
Oh, awful.
What are Unknown's perks?
Undone, Unforeseen, Unbound, all terrible for new players, and it's one of the hardest killers in the game.
Yep.
Just that's a double bad. That's a super double negative.
Yeah, which is a shame.
For such a cool killer, yeah.
For not only such a cool killer, but probably one of the best chapters they've ever released.
Yeah, he's just not friendly for new players. That feels very much like a chapter that was made for the veterans and nobody else.
Well, Sable.
Yeah, exactly. A chapter that was made for the veterans and nobody else. But I'm talking about a different kind of veteran, but I can't say that on stream.
We got Vecna.
Vecba.
Franklin.
That's a hard one.
Weave, Human Greed, and Dark Eric.
No. Languid.
Langwood.
Not Human Greed.
I would still put it. I would still say he's bad for both.
Yeah, I can concede to that. I will. Well, I'm not conceding anything. I am agreeing. I agree to that.
Well, because a lot of him, like, people make the argument playing against him is a knowledge check. Playing as him is a knowledge check.
I think Vecna's a lot harder than people give him credit for.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, you have to know which spell to use and when. And why.
And also time them properly while you're using them. Like, you have to space your skellies properly, space your mage hands properly, you know when to use your dispelling spheres to see which magic items that they have, know whether or not you should use it to cancel the one that they currently have based on the other spells that you have. Fly cancels, like through like the window tech thing where you like double back through the window when you cancel fly.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
Not with the new changes now, I don't think.
Yeah, and then
Rip.
Again, his perks, like Human Greed's probably the best one, and it's not even
Languid.
And well, yeah, Languid. Again, though, Languid's like it doesn't counter sprint bursts, and that's the most common exhaustion perk for both new and veteran players.
Did you mean Languid, Weave, or Dark Arrogance? Because Human Greed's Drac.
Oh, I guess I did mean Languid. My bad. I confused them because it's like the same killer to me.
Weave is good, and Languid is okay, and Dark Arrogance is really bad for new players.
Do you think Weave's only decent enough, though, when it's combined with Franklin's? Or do you think it's good enough on its own?
Oh, no, I think it's good on its own, because the fact that it automatically activates when the item is depleted, so it's really good against, like, toolboxes specifically.
So do you think I should put him in good perks, bad for new players?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, I didn't...
No, he's a double bad. That's a double negative.
Fair enough. And then moving on to the other shape-shifting killer,
Dracula.
Dracula. I kind of want to put him in both.
I think Dracula is good for new players with bad perks.
I don't, because Wolfhorn...
Realistically speaking, the skill floor of Dracula is learning his controls. Because once you learn the controls, it's I go bat to fly across the map or teleport. I go vampire form to use hellfire at loops, and I go dog form to catch it between loops, and that's it.
Fair enough. Yeah. I was just thinking because
Like, it has other things that he can do, but at the bare minimum, it's pretty simple. And even, like, aside from that, like, how to use all three powers, you could still just play vampire form and bat form and never use wolf, or just play wolf and bat and never use vampire.
or just use
Like,
vampire.
he doesn't have to use all three. Yeah.
Yeah, just vampire alone is probably good enough for new players. That's true. And then his perks, dominance, it's good, but you got to combo with something. Human greed is probably one of the worst aura readings of the game, and
Wretched Fate
Wretched Fate is
decent passive slowdown.
Yeah.
No, I think his perks are bad, but I think he's pretty decent for new players. Not like... I almost feel like there should be another tier, like you were saying before, because I think the difference between, like, Dracula easy and Legion easy is, like, a huge gap.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could order them afterwards.
Yeah, we could probably do that. Next is Houndmaster.
Oh, that's a hard one. I think she has Thunder Thighs, Jagged Compass, and No Quarter. I think they're bad perks.
They're all bad perks, at least for new players. Jagged. The only thing Jagged has going for it would be that it can combo Get to Pain.
I might put her in double bad, I think.
I would kind of...
Because I don't think she's that hard, but I also don't think that she's easy.
Well, I think the other problem with her is just, like, you can get the movement speed, right? But, like, unless you know how to position Snug, and Snug takes a lot of prediction and also, like, flicks to do right.
Well, yeah, but that's, like, using the second dash. A lot of the time you're just going to be using the first dash.
That's true.
But I still don't think she's easy.
Yeah, I would still put her there. I don't really have much more to say about her, because, like, even her add-ons, like...
They're all whatever.
Fatty Meat, there you go, there's your add-on.
Well, Fatty Meat, let's go!
Unless you're a weirdo like me and you use the fucking steering wheel, because I love it.
I have a funny thing. I don't know what any of Houndmaster's add-ons do, because I started saving my blood points right after Castlevania. So I've never used any Houndmaster add-ons outside of her browns. So I don't know any of her purples or iris.
The iridescent, it's the ship wheel. It's iridescent. It whenever Snug is on a chase or on a search, if you don't walk along his path, you gain undetectable till he comes back.
Oh, that's interesting.
So what I'll do is I'll throw him to the farthest gen I can find, and then walk around the map undetectable.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
sounds fun.
If you throw it at the right gen, you can confuse the crap out of spiders. Because they'll be like, "Oh, Snug's here, she's coming," and then you're just like on the other side of the map. It's really funny, but yeah, I think bad for both is interesting. Mm-hmm. It's funny because, like, I saw a bunch of people saying, like, you know, the most recent killers this year have been for the veterans, and, you know, looking at this, I kind of agree.
Yeah. I think ever since Unknown, a lot of releases have been for veteran players over new players.
Yeah, and then, you know, the next two, kind of, well, we'll talk about it. Ken!
Holy shit, is that fucking Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul?
It is, right next to Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's.
I love this game.
Ken is a hard one to, like, quantify if he's good for new players or not, because he has the auto hit. He has basic mobility. If you want to play him simple, you can.
Oh, yeah, no, I think he's good for new players.
I think the pick rate proves that he's good for new players.
Yeah, I would think of him along the same lines as, like, Blight, where his floor is, like, just use dash for mobility. Like, you don't have to learn how to actually play tiles with it. He has the vault. He has the auto-aim hit. He has just the good mobility, the short cooldown. You can still just play him like an M1 killer. His biggest flaw really is that his add-ons aren't really creative, inventive, transformative, aside from, like, Mask and Centipede. And he's, like, kinda buggy.
Yeah.
After the recent changes. Oh, and also he can't do M1, like basic M1 mind games like moonwalks and stuff very well because the Kagune just fly all over the place through walls, over walls. You know, you're like walking backwards and they see it clip into the wall, or you like double back and they see it flip around in the air. Like you can't mind game with him. It sucks.
And then his perks. I mean, he's got Forever Entwined, which is becoming very beloved by the community. And honestly, I don't think it's a bad perk for new players at
Yeah,
all.
at least you counter flashlights pretty well.
Well, it just feels good.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that alone makes it worth running.
And then Nothing But Misery is the only bad one, but None Are Freer is also a really good endgame perk.
Yeah.
Good for new players? Probably not, but...
Do I want to put him...
I mean, it's not bad either.
Yeah, do I want to put him in easy for new, with bad perks?
Oh, I put him in double good.
Yeah, similar to Blight, yeah, I can kind of agree. Just because Forever Entwined, like, the other two perks are, like, also decent, so yeah.
Yeah, even None Are Free isn't bad.
No, I've only used it, like, once. And then we get to the main attraction, Sping Tap.
Sping Tab is a very obvious good for new players with bad perks.
Yeah, Phantom Fear isn't that great, outside of a few select killers. I don't even remember his other two perks. I know I've been saying
Help Wanted is not new player friendly.
It's not even
even though
veteran
it's a
player.
good perk.
It's not even veteran player friendly.
And then Haywire is it's
The
bad.
one.
It's just a bad perk.
Yeah, which sucks.
Yeah, so he has two bad perks, but one pretty decent perk that's only good on like certain killers. So his perks suck, but he's very new player friendly, and he's very like, as you get better at the game, he also gets better with you, which I think is very healthy design.
He also probably has the least complicated teleport in the game.
You go into a door, pick another door, walk through it. The least complicated teleport, as we have that one stream just learning about the doors.
Well, I just needed like use case, because even with Freddy, it's like you can fake it. You can't really do that with Springtrap.
Me standing still in a door to fake my teleport, and no one knows where I am.
Day one next week is gonna be so much fun.
I can't wait to take Tuesday off.
I got Monday and Tuesday off. I'm happy.
I'm trying to get Wednesday and Tuesday off because I would like to stream.
But yeah, I think I do agree. Like again, like Phantom Fear is good, just only on a few select killers. Mostly the dash ones, but also Chucky, who I cannot wait to make that video going over that. Unless they change it, I swear to God, behavior.
I feel like they won't, because a lot of people said it was just bad straight up on everybody. If anything, I think
buff it. I don't care. Buff it. Make the cooldown 30
I can't
seconds.
wait for it to launch with a 4-second or a read and a 30-second cooldown, and then everyone's like, "This perk is insane on the good guy."
I was talking to Stocky Boy about it. It's just like he's thinking.
Oh, the 4 thumbnails with the different skins.
Yeah.
But they're all the same video.
God damn it. Stocky, I love you. I know you watch my videos. I love you so much. And then again, Haywire is just not that great. The funny thing is, the people who are most likely to 99 gates are like intermediate players.
Yeah, so it's not even good until you play more.
New players don't really think about it, and veteran players know better. And then like Help Wanted again, like it's a good perk, but honestly, it really only shines when you combine it with machine learning.
Yeah. Or Stibiffle.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, we can go through this and order them a bit more. Here, rest in peace, Pinhead. The free ones don't really need to be ordered.
Yeah.
Do we both agree like Clown is probably the best for like good perks, good for new players?
I would say Clown, Sadako, Nemesis. Oops, that's Blight. Nemesis. Why is it not letting me move Nemesis up? There we go. Bubba. Myers, Doctor.
I would probably put I'd put Pig at the end, and then I would
I
actually.
was gonna put Blight at the bottom.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I would actually put Kaneki at the bottom too. So
Yeah, I have Clown, Sadako, Nemesis, Bubba, Myers, Doctor, and then I put Pig, Kaneki, Ghostface, Blight.
I would say Ghostface, Pig, Kaneki, Blight. I think because these two are mobility killers.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And Ghostface's perks are better than all of them too, so
Yeah.
okay. And then what's the other
perks,
one? Good perks, hard for new players.
Yeah.
Plague at the top, Artist at the top.
Deathslinger.
Xeno. Oh yeah, wait, Deathslinger. You're right.
Deathslinger.
Slinger at 3.
Scully. I would say Scully.
I'd put Xeno.
I'll put her after.
I'd say Xeno, then Knight, then Scully.
I'll put Knight above Scully, then Xeno.
Oh wait, Trickster should definitely be above Knight.
Trickster isn't bad for new players with bad perks. Didn't we? I thought we agreed on that.
No, we said good perks on Trickster.
Did we?
Starstruck, No Way Out, Crowd Control.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have Artist, Plague, Slinger, Xeno, Trickster, Knight, Merchant, Hag, Spirit.
I did Plague, Artist, Deathslinger, Trickster, Knight, Scully, Xeno, Spirit, then Hag. And I actually would probably switch. I would probably switch Hag and Spirit, to be honest. I think Spirit has the worst of the bunch.
Okay, and then easy for new players with bad perks. I want Dracula and Chucky at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say Legion.
I would say Legion, Springtrap, or Legion,
yeah.
Demo, Springtrap, Wesker.
Yeah.
And then Chucky, Dracula. Yeah.
Bad for new players with bad perks. Who has the best perks out of these killers? Oni has Zanshin. Singularity's perks. I put Singu at the top. Singu, Oni.
Honestly, I would be rating this one more by how hard they are to play.
Oh, you'd rather difficulty than... So put the easiest killers at the top?
Yeah, well, at least for this tier in particular.
Okay, so Freddy, Houndmaster...
Put Unknown and Larry at the bottom, and then Dredge.
Yeah, I'm putting Larry, Unknown, Twins, and Dredge go at the bottom. So I guess that means it goes...
Freddy, Houndmaster,
Oni, Pyramid Head, Vecna?
I would put... Because Pyramid Head's... I would put Pyramid Head third, and then Oni, then Vecna.
Okay.
Because Pyramid Head's mostly aim and prediction. With Oni, it's literally flicking.
Well, now that he has the flicks like base kit, I thought it made him a little easier.
It does, but it's still like if you don't know, you don't know, you know?
Yeah.
If you don't know, you don't know, you know?
If you know, you don't know, you know. I know.
Just shows to go, yeah. If you want to get gas, you got to bring the car.
I know what you know, you know. You know, I know.
If anyone understands that reference, you're my best friend.
I don't know.
From Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, I don't know what you know.
It's one of the new episodes where they're like at a gas station and they're like, we need gas for our truck or for our car. They're like, where's the car? Damn it, we left the car. And then they start walking back to get the car, and then they like halfway there, they're like, we gotta get gas. They walk back to the gas station. It's just Beavis is just like, it just shows to go. Yeah, if you want to get gas, you gotta bring the car. It's so stupid. Oh man, I love that show so much sometimes. But no, I think this is good. Yeah, I think this is good.
Yeah.
I almost fully agree with this. I think there's a couple I'd move, but in general, though, it's like...
Who'd you move?
Maybe Demo? Well, no, because perks. That's the hard part about the killer side of this, was... Because the other pushback I got from a lot of people was... new killer players don't really need to care about perks.
Well, yeah, if we're talking purely in terms of like the perk's strength, but I think when we were talking about it anyway, we were discussing the perk in function.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Clown is high not because Pop is so OP and it's super meta, but it's the fact that you learn, oh, I have a healing perk, a chase perk, and a gen perk.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see what kind of perks that you like. And that's the same thing with Sadako. It's like, I have an aura perk
Well,
and 2 gen perks.
because that's the other thing with this, because I'm even going to make a joke about this in the video. Let's be honest here. We know who every new player is getting. Right?
Yeah, exactly. They're all coming to the game to buy the twins, guys. Come on. The twins, the Skull Merchant, and the Singularity are like the 3 killers that Dead by Daylight's the most well known for.
But my point with this is like, because I'm gonna make a disclaimer in that video where it's like, at the end of the day, especially on the killer side, just pick who you like. Like, if you think being a cool vampire skelly man that uses like Mage Hand is cool, play Vecna. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, if you want to spend your points and learn the game in a decent way, this is probably your best choice.
I'm sorry, but if you come to the game and the first killer that you buy is Hag, I need a restraining order.
I was talking about Vecna, but okay.
Oh, no, I know, but
Oh.
I was bringing up, like, if the first killer that you think you buy the game and you're like, wow, this Lisa character looks really cool. That's really up my alley. I want to know where you live so I can get a restraining order.
The first killer I bought was Pig.
Based choice.
Yeah, Pig was my first killer. I went around crouched and kicked gens all day.
I also bought Pig first because I remember back when I played, they still had the Splinter add-ons in the Blood Webs. So I remember trying her and I really, really liked her, and I ran to a Cumberland Farms that was near my house to buy a PlayStation card for myself so I could get her. And then I played Freddy and Bubba with Splinters too, so I ran back to the Cumberland Farms to get another PlayStation card so I could buy Freddy and Bubba. And that's how I ended up maining both Freddy and Pig back then.
Yeah, and Freddy was actually my second buy. And what's really funny, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I thought Nancy, because I didn't watch Stranger Things back then, I thought Nancy Wheeler was Nancy from the Freddy movies.
Oh.
That confused the shit out of me for like 2 years.
Wow, we bought the same first 2 killers. That's crazy.
It was Pig and then Freddy and then Pyramid Head. And the only reason I bought Pyramid Head is because Otts had the survey you could take that told you which killers you would enjoy. And Pyramid Head was the one that kept coming up. I took it like 3 times. It always came back to Pyramid Head. I don't know why.
That's very odd. It's funny, when I took mine, I got, I think, who was the newest killer at the time that I did it for the first time? It was either Skull Merchant or Singularity. When I took it, I got Sadako. I was maining Sadako at the time already. And then, retaking it and even, like, changing answers around a little bit, like, knowing more so how the point system works, I would just get Sadako and Knight and, like, occasionally fucking Doctor for some reason. Which is funny because I don't like playing Doctor, but he's one of my best killers statistically.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing with me with Old Freddy. It's like I hated playing Old Freddy, but like I very rarely lost on him.
Which Old Freddy? Like original Freddy or
Freddy before
Puddle
January?
Freddy?
Yeah, Puddle Freddy before January.
I loved Puddle Freddy.
It's because
I miss him.
He's simple. He was so simple.
I miss John M1.
That's why, like, I told people this all the time. That's why a lot of people do well on that version of Freddy. It's because you didn't have to think about anything, for the most part.
Well, I was gonna say I liked things that you did have to think about. Like, I liked rotating my character in a way where my snare would get stuck on a corner of the environment as the survivor was running through it while it was arming and then doubling back.
But
like little things like that where it's like, oh, there's no mechanical demand there. I still felt like a big brain, you know, even though it wasn't really anything crazy.
But to those listening on the YouTube, we've been rambling for a while, but this is basically our tier list for who you should probably buy first. Again, pick whoever the fuck if you look at how Master, you're like, hell yeah, go for it. I don't care. But in general, this is who you think would probably be the best choices. If you disagree, you disagree. I feel like we gave good enough reasonings. But I love you guys, as always. Have a good one, and yeah. Bye!